Hi, my name is Greg Payne. Uh, I'm your host on God is My Pointman Ministries 2012. I served as a combat infantryman in both Vietnam, one tour, and on the DMZ in Korea, uh, second tour. Uh, these are just unusual experiences that I had during that course as I look back on these different weird incidents of rather dangerous situations where I saw God's deliverance. And I just wanted to share with you, both veterans and civilians alike, um, these different, how God does act and intervene um, in dangerous situations if uh, He knows more about you than yourself. And if you're, I really think that if you're the only person to be saved in the future, he probably wouldn't intervene like that. But he had a purpose in my life, and he brought me through that. So I had some rather bizarre situations. One that I recall, I'll take you back to Korea on the DMZ there. Um, because of the unpopularity of the Vietnam War, a lot of us got reassigned, and I was one, and we got reassigned to Korea up on the DMZ. The Army would give us combat um, credit. You finish your Vietnam tour or start a brand new one, whichever, and you get credit for, one service time in combat, or credit for finishing another tour. So anyway, I was one of those who was reassigned to Korea, and I was up for Spec 4, which is equal to corporal. Um, but we had a lieutenant in charge of that company. Um, he was our platoon commander, who he was. He didn't like us people from Vietnam. And he systematically went on down the line and busted every one of us. I was the last to go. I was up for promotion for Spec 4 when it happened. He came down the line at night and he was walking. I saw him. I didn't think too much about it. You know, he was in. He wasn't. He was at night. You know, I could still see his silhouette outline in the dark. And our helmets had a distinct outline of their own. And I noticed it was friendly. It wasn't hostile. And I was reaching down to get our hand grenades out of the foxholes. They had foxholes dug in front of the fence on the 38th parallel. And I was reaching down there to put the hand grenades up in the. They had a little trench in front of the foxhole. And we lined them up on that little space they had us put them in. And that's what I was doing when he came up on me. And I didn't halt him, you see. That was my fault there, I guess. But he accused me of sleeping. And when I, sat upright, with some grenades in my hand, I should have fragged him then, but I didn't, of course. I put the grenades in the little sump in the front, and he said, "You were sleeping, weren't you?" And I said, "No, sir. I was gathering up the grenades, getting ready for the night." Uh, he says, "Yeah, sure you were." I didn't think too much about it particularly. I thought maybe he just made a passing comment. I just let him go. Well, later on I heard from the squad leader that my promotion had been taken away. That fool Burke busted me. Um, so I stayed the same rank is what I did, because I was upper spec 4. Um, so I just stayed in E3 extra long when I shouldn't have had to. And he called me into his bunker to talk to me about it. And we had this Spanish American Puerto Rican. And if you know anything about the Spanish Puerto Ricans, they got a real hot temper. This guy's name was Lugo. I'll never forget him. Uh, Lugo came from New York, from the Bronx. Uh, and he was a rough one. He was also from the 1st Air Cavalry. He was a Vietnam vet. And Harmon had already busted him. And I was the last to be reprimanded of the Vietnam veterans. And Lugo apparently liked me. I didn't know that much about him, to be quite honest about it. I had really nothing to do with him. But he apparently liked me. He took a hand grenade inside that bunker, and he didn't like Harmon, Lieutenant Harmon, at all. And he had written Lieutenant Harmon's name on the side of the hand grenade. And he came in that bunker, and he said, "You busted my good friend Greg." He says, "Now I'm going to bust you. This grenade's got your name on it, Harmon. How do you like it? With the pin in or the pin out? Because I'm going to blow your ass away." And I said, "Wait a minute, Lugo." I said, he's not worth it. He's just a dirty dog. Don't do it, Lugo." I stayed with Lugo and saved Harmon's life, because Lugo told me to get out of the bunker. He says, "Go, Greg, get out of here." He says, "This is between him and me." And he says, "You're just an innocent victim, so get out of here." I said, "No, Lugo, don't do it, because he's not worth it. And it's not worth going to hell for." And that's probably what will happen. You both go to hell. And so I stayed with him to make sure that he didn't do something stupid. And somebody heard the ruckus and called the MPs. Of course, I hadn't done anything but save Lieutenant Harmon's life. He wouldn't even give me a second thought about reinstating my promotion for saving his life. Dirty dog. But there's an incident there that God saw me through. I hadn't thought about that one in years. It wasn't a real outstanding event. I mean, a lot of stuff happens in infantry that are probably a lot more dangerous than that. But that's just one incident out of many that I have to share with you. And how God will intervene in dangerous times if He has a purpose and a will for you in your life that you're not aware of, because it's in the future, and He sees everything. We only see part of it, of the picture. We don't see the whole picture, but He sees the whole picture, so He will interact accordingly. So I had an opportunity to see His divine intervention in these kind of situations that as I look back on them, I find them quite intriguing. I never shined it off for luck. Some people did. I had a cousin that did that. He's dead. Um, Not for this particular incident, but he flies. But he got shot by a sniper uh, from a coconut tree. He was in the Marine Corps infantry, and they were calling him Marines going down this trail, and there was a sniper in a coconut tree, and shot my cousin David. But what happened was it hit his rifle, M16, and it bent it in a V because it's made out of plastic and aluminum. It's not very heavy. It's only 7 pounds fully loaded, and yeah, it just bent that rifle in half. It was like a letter V, and it spun David around and knocked him on the ground. And the Marine behind him saw the sniper and cut loose on him. But David said, "Well, my luck must have been running out. When stuff like this happens, the next one's going to be fatal." Well, his luck did run out, and he was right, because the next one was fatal. I never attributed that kind of thing to luck. I was too God conscious for that. So I just want to share some of this with you. This will be in my archives for God is My Pointman Ministries 2012. We are heading for very dangerous times right now. We got a sadomasochistic pope by the name of Pope Francis that thinks he's the Antichrist. Actually he is. He goes through, if you go on YouTube and pull up Pope Francis, you'll see what I'm talking about. He's got a whole string of stuff he's going to do. It's to do with the New World Order, that government, one world government that they're setting up. And he claims that he has achieved power, absolute power, through Satan. We call it Lucifer. He goes by Lucifer. And he's gained the power through the Illuminati and through the Freemasons. That has given him the incantations for Satan. So, and he goes through all the incantations, and he explains a lot of stuff in other videos on down the line. But his initial announcement of him being the Antichrist, he wanted the whole world to see that. And you can look that up on YouTube if you're interested. It tells us a lot about where we're at today, believe me. And Russian plane bombers have been seen off our coast, and I don't know. Follow it and give me some feedback on it. Tell me what you think. It's interesting. It's following biblical prophecy. So, and I thought maybe these little tidbits from my own experiences, throw it out for you. And until then, have a nice day. And since we all have a ministry, I sort of adopted a name, a title, I should say. Nothing special, but I call my ministry. I'm like a pastor. If that means anything or not, I don't know. But this is Pastor Greg Payne signing off. And thank you for your undivided attention, and hope to see you sometime soon. Take care. God bless. And good day.